something that we normally don't do on this show, and that's because they usually don't give us a reason to. We're gonna talk about the Giants a little bit with some sleepers. As Anthony yawns, maybe
Yeah.
that's part of the show.
Well,
And maybe that's part of the show, or maybe just me
because we're talking
mentioning
about
the
the fucking
Giants.
Giants.
Maybe it's me mentioning the Giants almost lulled Anthony to sleep. But no, seriously, Devin Singletary is the first New York football Giant that we will talk about. Currently sitting as the RB35. Why do we like Devin Singletary? There's some familiarity there with Brian Daboll, obviously, the Giants head coach back in the Buffalo days. Last year, he finished as the running back 32, 4 rushing touchdowns, no receiving touchdowns. It's all about the opportunity. Saquon Barkley has been well documented. He has jumped ship to the Philadelphia Eagles. Anthony, I will go to you first, even though I apologize. I know Giants talk makes you very sleepy, so just
I'm all
power your
right.
way through
I'm
it.
all right.
You're all right. Okay, you're all right. All right. So, what do we make of Devin Singletary? 898 rushing yards last year, 193 receiving. Are we looking, and that, by the way, was with the Texans last year. Are we looking to get that same kind of success with the Giants?
If you call that success, maybe
I call it
success for
success for
Devin
Devin Singletary.
Singletary.
Yeah.
Listen, if you need a running back at this juncture of the draft where he's going, I see 106 overall, a 106.8 current ADP. It's actually gone up from 111 at the FFPC. You could do a lot worse, right? Like now, Brian Robinson, who I do like, is going right before Singletary, and I do expect Robinson to not be there, but like I like what Singletary is going to bring to the table over guys like Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards. Devin Singletary should be the guy, right? He should be the Saquon Barkley of this backfield in terms of getting the opportunity. He's not Saquon Barkley when it comes to skill set. He's not going to give you what Saquon Barkley gave you in those categories. But is he going to be there for goal line situations? Is he going to get most of the carries? Is he going to get those valuable PPR opportunities? Absolutely. So, like when I say Saquon Barkley, he's going to be the opportunity guy in this backfield. Just don't expect Saquon Barkley production. But I will expect production from Devin Singletary, enough production to where he's going to be a weekly fantasy asset, probably in the flex spot, but still a weekly fantasy asset. He'll bring a high floor to the table. Now, if you go to Devin Singletary, as much work as he had last year, he only gave us 9.8 PPR points a game. But if we dig back to his earlier years, 3 out of his first 4 seasons, he averaged north of 10 PPR points per game. So 3 out of 5 NFL years, he's given us double-digit PPR points. I am more than fine with that. Drafting a guy outside the top 100 who is going to be the lead back. There's guys there. I think there's Eric Gray. There's the rookie they brought in. This should be Singletary's backfield. If you ask me, Brian Daboll's coaching for his job. I don't know, outside of one of these younger backs really taking off in the preseason, I don't know how they're going to take Singletary off the field. He's reliable. He's probably a decent pass blocker, reliable catcher out of the backfield. So, like, this will be the guy. Just don't expect efficiency. Don't expect to get any type of decent efficiency or any type of big runs. Like, that is not Devin Singletary. That is not what he does. Now, last year in Houston, he did have a career high 3 games over 100 rushing yards. But like, if we go, he only had 3 rushes over 20 yards, which ties a career low. So he is kind of slowing down, but if you give him the volume, he showed us last year that he can give us some big games. And let's face it, that Houston rushing attack, that offensive line was not great for run blocking.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. And, to Anthony's point, Devin Singletary was one of 2 running backs in the top 35 last year that finished with less than 10 points on a per game basis. Pete, what says you? I know you flashed the comment saying that there are no sleepers with the little Giants. That's from Out of Rhythm Fantasy Sports. There's got to be some kind of positivity there with the Giants. Pete, what says you? Is that positivity Devin Singletary?
So I'll be completely blunt. I prefer Tyron Tracy in this room, but if I am making the case for Singletary, he's the less risky guy. He is a Brian Daboll guy. He was in Buffalo from 2019 to 2022, so he was with Daboll for at least 2 or 3 seasons. To his credit, I mean, he averaged 4.6 yards a carry in his whole career, and last year was actually his worst season at 4.2. And on top of that, in the Brian Daboll system, the 41 targets was the lowest amount that he ever had. 41, 50, 50, 52 with 4 years straight before going to the Texans. And he played with a rushing quarterback like Josh Allen. So they're not the most friendly when it comes to dumping the ball off to the running back position. So, he could be a safety valve for this offense. Daniel Jones likes to run, but it's probably not nearly as much as Josh Allen. And this is an offense that's dying for, talent, and he's a veteran. So I think Daboll might lean on the veteran. I do prefer Tyron Tracy later in drafts, but if I was making the case for Singletary, he knows the system, he's comfortable, and honestly, he really has gotten a lot of crap over his career in Buffalo specifically. But when you really look at the numbers, he really hasn't been that bad. To Anthony's point, he's not going to, rip off 20, 30, 40-yard runs because he's not that kind of guy. But he is a stable guy who, he's got a decent average yards per carry, and he can catch the ball at the backfield. So if you're looking, depending on your team at the time, if you're looking for stability, kind of like the Cortland Sutton argument, this is a guy that has a high floor, just not a high ceiling. So if you need that, he's a guy I would target in my drafts.
Devin Singletary is the missionary sex of the running back position.
Ooh. But sometimes when you need a running back, when you're not drafting a running back, you'll take it. Just like when you need it, you'll take missionary. Sometimes you need a missionary in your life, It's better than nothing at all. So
I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I'm here for. And well done by Anthony, of course. Perfect. I'm sure that's exactly what to be classified as.